The world is experiencing one of the most unpredictable and dangerous turning points in history. If you've been following the news lately, you've probably seen it. The gates of hell have literally opened in the Middle East. Following the Trump administration's heavy airstrikes on Iran's coastal cities in the Strait of Hormuz as part of renewed military operations, a swift and devastating retaliation came from Iran. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps literally turned 85 American military installations across Bahrain and Kuwait, including strategic bases, into a ring of fire using ballistic missiles and kamikaze drones. So how did the world get to this point overnight? Has everyone lost their minds, or is there a much deeper structural crisis behind this story? Today, we're going to break down this new war that has brought the Middle East to the brink of the abyss, Trump's maneuvers, and the heavy toll this is taking on the global economy. Of course, this didn't just start yesterday. As you may remember, there was a memorandum of understanding between the parties, even if it hung by a thread. However, the Trump administration unilaterally revoked the general license allowing Iran to sell its crude oil outside the country. This move meant tearing up the agreement and throwing it in the trash. Iran responded to this economic strangulation by saying, "We will wipe your presence in the region off the map." The tragicomic part of the story is how politics and diplomacy are being conducted. While American bases were being bombed and people were running to shelters, do you know what Donald Trump posted on his social media account? Just a cartoon graphic with the word in all caps, boom! Now we have to ask, what exactly are you saying boom to? When people voted for this policy, did they vote for the American economy to break, for inflation to surge, and for grocery carts to remain empty? Trump can keep bragging that we have obliterated Iran's military 40 times, but the reality on the ground says otherwise. Iranian speedboats are buzzing around the Strait of Hormuz, fresh sea mines are being laid, and the Persian Gulf is completely locked down. The American defense bureaucracy defines these strikes as a punishment, not a proportionate response. Yet, it seems the very gamble meant to punish Iran might end up pushing all American presence and its allies completely out of the game. This war isn't just about missiles exploding in the desert. This war affects your wallet directly. The Strait of Hormuz and the Oman route are the jugular vein of global oil shipping. Iran is threatening to shut it down completely and has already begun striking commercial vessels passing through the Oman route. Another actor moving stealthily in this chaos is China. The Beijing administration has deployed independent teapot refineries to quietly gobble up the crude oil supply on the market. The goal is clear: take the oil supply off the market to intentionally cause prices to skyrocket and collapse Western economies with a wave of inflation. So, on one side, you have Trump's reckless military moves, on the other, Iran's missiles, and in the background, China's economic chess moves. At the end of the day, the bill will be paid by the ordinary citizen who can't afford rent or gas. In the midst of all this chaos, a familiar face is appearing on American networks with a familiar script: Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu stepped in front of the cameras, repeating the exact same lies used against Saddam Hussein before the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Iran definitely has biological and chemical weapons of mass destruction. We need to launch a deeper invasion immediately. History truly repeats itself. The American people elected Trump because they were sick and tired of forever foreign wars in the Middle East. Even Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of Trump's staunchest supporters, rightfully raised a red flag, exposing the dangerous game of the Pentagon and the weapons lobby by saying, "We elected this man to end forever wars. Now we are starting a war that we allegedly won 40 times." So where does the road lead us? Naturally, it comes down to the issue of nuclear weapons and absolute deterrence. If Iran had managed to build its nuclear weapons and put them on the table at all costs, like North Korea did, Trump wouldn't be able to order strikes this easily, nor could Netanyahu draw new invasion maps. North Korea can launch missiles left and right today while being completely isolated from the world, and nobody touches them because they possess nuclear power. Iran, having failed to cross that threshold, is currently an open target. However, this time the process is far more dangerous. If the Trump administration continues to escalate this tension, they won't find a victory for democracy. Instead, they will find a new quagmire where oil prices skyrocket, global supply chains break, and American bases receive coffins every single day. The cards are being reshuffled, and this time, the gamble on the table is much bigger than the world can handle. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next analysis.